Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft mod reviews. Now this episode, we're going to be doing a mod that is completely and utterly nothing to do with gameplay. Well, actually, it's everything to do with gameplay, but nothing to do with anything that it adds to the game, per se. So, if we hit escape, you bring up to your normal menu. You got your back to game, achievement, statistics. If you go to options, you got your same difficulties, controls, language. If you go to video settings, however, what the hell is this? It brings up all these things, which is completely crazy and utterly weird. But you got your normal graphics, except if you hover over a certain object, you get a sort of box that appears in the lower part of the screen, or upper if you go down the bottom. But if you hover over it, it gives you things that tell you how it will benefit your computer playing. So at the moment I've got it on fast, because my computer isn't the best at running games. Got my render distance on normal, but if you look here, you can see that actually you can adjust your render distance from tiny to extreme. An extreme render distance is 512 meters, compared to normal, which is 128. So I'm going to set it back to normal. And you can do all sorts of things. So instead of just having tiny, short, normal, and far, you can now have tiny plus 16, short, short plus 16, 32, 48, normal, normal, all the way up to normal plus 112, yeah. I'm just going to keep it on normal, because that's what suits my computer best. You have the smooth lighting option, which you can change for the amount of smooth lighting you have. Performance, I keep it on power saver to limit my frame rate to 40, and also because otherwise my computer fans get too loud, and you can't actually hear me talking over the noise that you get. 3D anaglyph, I can never pronounce that. That basically just makes your game 3D. So if you have those red and blue glasses, it turns them into 3D. I'm going to keep that off. View bobbing, self-explanatory. GUI scale, that obviously changes how large these are. So if I reset it to auto. Advanced OpenGL. Now normally you'd only have on or off. But with Optifine, it adds these other options. You can have off, fast, fancy, or off, actually. And what it does, if I go back into the menu, if I change it to first, it basically renders only the visible geometry. Now that might sound confusing, but what it's doing is it's not loading the world behind me as I spin around, and under the ground here, none of the caves or anything is loaded to a visible extent, I think you could say. So if we go back into the menu, you also have fancy, which basically it avoids visual artifacts, which means it shows some of the stuff but not all of it, or off, which is everything. I just keep it on off. Brightness, you already have that. You can adjust the level of brightness. Clouds, you can turn on and off. Fog, you can turn on and off. I have off because it makes my computer run faster, and you have fancy, fast, and off. Fog start chooses how close the fog starts to the player that you are. Then you have at the bottom here, you have a few things like details, quality, animations, performance, texture pack, and other. So you go into details. You can see that you can adjust things like this. You can adjust the cloud height. So you can change how high the clouds are. So now if you look, oh, I have clouds off. Oh well, we'll just put these back on. Where are they? Clouds are on. Oh, it's so high that my render distance doesn't see them. So I'll put cloud height off. Clouds on. So if I set it up to 100, you can very barely see the clouds up there. So we'll leave it like that for now. Actually, we'll just put them back to normal. Put it back to 0. Obviously, you can have fancy, fast, or off. Trees I have on fancy because it looks nicer. And this enables you, a lot of things change when you change the setting from fast to fancy, such as the trees looking a lot worse in my opinion. So I keep the trees on fancy because it looks nice. Water you can have on fast, fancy, or default, and basically it looks better. Sky is visible if you have it. It's basically just that little bit of blue that you see when you look up. Whoops, just go back to this. Sun and moon, self-explanatory. Depth fog. Now that's when you go closer to the bedrock levels, you get this fog that appears that makes your view very short. You can turn that off. The grass, you can change how good that looks. Rain and snow, if you want that on or off. Stars, you can have them on and off. And show capes, it really doesn't affect anything, but because I don't have a cape, I just leave it on. If we go to quality, you can have mip map. Now what mip map does is it smooths out the texture details from something that's further away. So if I change my mip map level to 4, I think the maximum, and we go out here. Now if you look, I'm going to zoom in. If you press the control key, it zooms in. If you look on top of those blocks, you can see that rather than having individual blocks, you can see that it's smoothed. And maybe if I go over here and look at the top of that tree, there, you can see that. That's a pretty good example there. So yeah, that's what it does. That's basically it. That's mip map. And the higher the number, the more smoothing you have. So we'll go back to... oh, I wasn't on animations. I was on quality, was I not? That anistrophic filtering. Basically, it adds more details than normal when having the mip map, but I'm not gonna. I'll show you it. How many? What does it go up to? I think it goes up to 16, like that. But because I have mip map off, whoops, wrong button. If I change that up to max, just make my computer lag a little. You can see if I zoom in that you still get some of the detail of the blocks that you would normally lose with just mip map. So that's pretty nice. I like that. Now if we go back to quality, we'll just turn that off because it causes a bit of lag. Turn mip map off. Clear water, self-explanatory. That means if you go under the water, you don't get the dark blue. Better grass. It just makes it look nicer. Custom fonts. The fonts applied by the texture pack, so that's simple. Swamp colors. If you don't want swamp, then you can turn that off. Connected textures. Now, if you look here at my glass, personally, I don't like the look of this. So what I do is I go to quality, and I go to connected textures on. There you go, and then you lose the little line things that normally separates the two glass blocks, and it just makes it look nicer. You know, you get a nicer view of everything. So now, if we go back to quality, what else have I got? Mip map type, you can change the type from nearest, which means it's a rough smoothing, and linear is a fine smoothing. Anti-aliasing. This smooths jagged lines and makes it look nicer, but if you have higher levels, it decreases the FPS. But this only works after you restart the game, so I can't show you that to you. Random mobs. This doesn't work for the default texture pack because, well, you only have one type of skin for a pig. Better snow. Snow looks nicer. Custom colors. That basically just uses stuff from the texture pack. And smooth biomes, which means there's a nice transition between the two biomes. So that's quality. If you go to animations, you have all the animations for the different things. You can have water, fire, redstone, flame, void, rain splash, particles, terrain, lava portal, explosion, smoke, water particles. Whoops, excuse me. I got a bit confused there. I was trying to work out why it said water twice. Portal particles, dripping water / lava, and items animated. So a lot of things there, but I just leave them all on. Basically, if you turn it off, I'll give, not dynamic, we'll give it off. We'll go have a peek at this water over here. If you fly over, you'll see this is what the water looks like, that. So we'll change that quickly. animations, I think. Oh, whoops, terrain animated on. Water animated, if I set that to on, there, it looks much better, doesn't it? You can see the small sort of ripples in the water. So that's basically it. Fly back to the arena of light, as we call it. Zoom back in. Right, once we've done that, oh, whoop, wrong key. Video settings, animations. That's it for animations. That's all I can say. It does that for everything. So for performance, you have smooth FPS, which means that your FPS won't fluctuate, which means you'll stay around. Say, if I'm not recording, I'll stay around 70. If I am recording, I'll stay 40. Load far. This just allows the world chunks to be loaded at distance of far, which means that you can't see them, but they're loaded, if you know what I mean. Chunk updates, that just shows how quickly the world loads. Smooth input, that means you get no stuck keys. Preloaded chunks, that basically means you need how close you need to be for the chunks to be loaded. And dynamic updates mean that more chunks will be loaded. I love the word chunk. Will be loaded whilst the player is standing still compared to when the player is moving. So that's the performance settings. Texture packs enable you to change to your texture packs. I have lots of rubbish ones that don't work inside the game. So if we switch to, hopefully this will work. Oh, I didn't click it. Oh, you know what I mean. It allows you to change back to texture packs inside the game. Oh, hang on a minute. Texture packs. That's simple enough. And then other is just you have the fast debug info. So that means in the new Minecraft it doesn't matter anymore because you can press Shift and then F3 and that gets rid of the little red box that you'd have with the lines, which makes the game run slower actually. But never mind. Weather you have on, so you have rain, snow, thunderstorms. Full screen default. So that's when you press F11 on a Windows computer. I think it works. I can't get it to work on my computer. Debug profiler. That just collects and shows the information, so it might be a little bit slower if you have it on. Time default. I'm going to make it always day. Autosave 3 minutes. And that is that. That is the entire. I've just given you the entire rundown of all the settings Optifine gives you. And look at that. Boom. It is forever stuck in day, I think. If I look up. Or not. But now I'm just going to go give you the one last feature of the game. Oh, whoops, I accidentally placed the block there. If we just head outside. Say I like the look of that floating island over there. I've already mentioned this, but if you press Control, your view zooms in, and it's like you're in F8 mode, so you're kind of wobbling about a bit. And it's just good for looking at things from far away, and it's a bit helpful, but that's about it for this mod review. I'm going to give this mod a 10 out of 10, actually. It is extremely useful for people like me who have average computers but can't record well whilst playing without getting high FPS, but now I can, so it's really useful. So thank you very much for developing this. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. This has been me, Jack, giving you another Minecraft mod review. Thanks so much for watching. Please click the annotation at the end to watch the next video, and see you guys later. Bye.